Welcome back to Retail Therapy on the Sunday Scaries podcast feed. Kinda. Didn't think this through before we introduced ourselves today. My name's Will DeFries. With me today, as always, Barrett Dudley. Barrett, how's it going?
That's going great, man. You know, just happy to be here on a short week. Headed into another lovely and obnoxiously warm weekend. Yeah. Because I really want it to be fall. I don't know if you know that about
It's
me.
fall. It's fall.
Or about the people listening to this podcast, but we like fall.
Yeah, Barrett, you might be coming over to my place 2 nights from now, and you might be like, Will, why is it 58 degrees in here, and why are you wearing all oatmeal, and why do you have cashmere sweaters everywhere right now?
So I should plan on busting out like a cool lightweight jacket, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, there might be a new candle from Velbox burning at my crib. You might see there might be a rom-com on the television screen. More on that later.
Okay.
But like, if you see that I'm in full fall mode in the doors of my place, deal with it.
Do you consider You've Got Mail a fall movie or a Christmas movie?
It's a fall movie. It's absolutely a fall movie.
Like when is it appropriate to first put on You've Got Mail? October
any
1?
hangover ever?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter the time of day or the year. No, like actually appropriate, I would say September 1st.
It's too early.
No, it's not. Not in the northern states, my friend. Not in the northern states.
Yeah, you have to. I think we have to. We have to speak to the bottom of the class.
No.
That's
No.
We got to make sure everybody is
Star
along,
students
is along
only.
For their
Star
rights.
students only. No, what you have to know is that in the beginning of the film, they talk about how New York in the fall reminds them of going back to school, pencil shavings, things like that, and it's just this beautiful entrance into fall. If anything, I think it's perfect. I think it's the perfect transition into the fall season.
Random question: where do you stand on pumpkin spice?
It depends.
Yeah.
It depends. Like, I think when it's overdone, it's a little too much, but I do like a hint of pumpkin every once in a while. Sally just made some pumpkin spiced creamer for our coffee.
Yeah, she made it.
She made it. I mean, she bought pumpkin and then made the creamer out of the pumpkin and stuff like that.
She didn't make her own pumpkin.
She didn't grow the pumpkin.
She didn't grow the pumpkin.
She didn't grow it, nor did she forage for it. But something like that, I'll do a little bit. But like we bought a sleeve of Nespresso pods last year that were all pumpkin.
Yeah.
By the end of that sleeve, I was like, I don't need
It's a
this
little too-
anymore.
right,
It tastes like robot pumpkin and not real pumpkin.
Yeah, that's yeah.
There's no levels to the flavor. It's
a little
just
too aluminum
Yes,
tasting.
exactly,
Right? I
exactly.
Yeah. I got.
But
you,
I like
got you.
pumpkins. I like pumpkin flavored things. Are you pro or anti pumpkin, or are you kind of lukewarm?
I'm
like
okay.
me?
No, I'm okay with the pumpkin flavor. I mostly like it. Like you're saying, like when it gets too, I kind of feel this way about most flavors, but I want it to taste natural. I don't want it to taste like sicky sweet, like manufactured, artificial pumpkin.
Yeah.
I mentioned this on my Instagram the other day, but like I've been going anytime I get a flavor to anything recently, I'm just asking for half sweet.
Yeah.
And I first discovered this term on the online menu at Foxtrot, which if you're not familiar with Foxtrot, I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of them. They're in multiple cities. I think.
Yeah, there's one here.
Yeah, right. No, there's multiple here.
Oh, there are. Yeah,
That's
there
what
you
I was
go.
about to say. I don't exactly know where they started, whether it was Dallas or out of the state, but they just plopped down in Austin and were like, we're opening 4 Foxtrots, and they're quite nice. I like them a lot. But yeah, they have a half sweet option when you're ordering a drink, and it's perfect because it's typically why I don't order any type of latte or like vanilla or lavender or honey thing like that. Because I don't want it to be overly sweet, but the half sweet's a real nice option.
I just did something that's never been done before in the Retail Therapy podcast. I updated my in-out list for fall in real time.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I think you can guess what I just updated it with, because that is absolutely a thing that's happening rampantly from my experiences waiting at coffee shops lately.
Is half sweet?
Everyone's doing half sweet.
Everyone's doing, okay. All right. I guess I'm not trailblazing. I'm just.
No, you might have blazed the trail. Could have been you.
I feel like at least I'm like a little early on it.
Oh yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. But I think mainly I just hear Sally do it all the time.
Okay.
And we have one coffee shop we go to, and they I don't want to say they oversweeten, but they've got a heavy hand on the sweet stuff, and so we always like to get a little modified.
You can call Starbucks out by name.
I actually went to Starbucks for the first time in a very long time the other day. I don't go to Starbucks on my own accord. I have to get taken there by somebody or kind of be duped into it. And Sally said, "Let's go get some coffee." And I said, "Well, what? Wait, where are we turning to go to?" And suddenly we pulled into a Starbucks, and I was just like, "Oh,
We are going to talk a little bit about coffee
Oh, yeah.
more in depth later.
Oh, yeah.
But I will just say here and now, in the first 5 minutes of the podcast, that I really like Starbucks cold brew. I'm a big cold brew guy, and they actually have one of my favorites.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. I like the idea and taste of cold brew, but once I get to the bottom of that cold brew and my hand is shaking and my eyes are seeing like through the wall, I just have to take my foot off the gas a little bit. It's a lot for me.
Okay.
Let's get into today's episode. First and foremost, go follow us on Instagram at retail.pod. Head over to youtube.com/Sunday Scaries podcast. Go subscribe over there. Both of these links are in the description of this episode, so it makes it easy for you to go figure out. You can also get our listener companions on the Substack, which is linked as well. But first and foremost, let's talk out a change that we're making. I would say it's a minor change, but it's not. It's a very large change. Barrett and I, since January of last year, have been doing this podcast bi-weekly. And then on the other weeks, I've been continuing to do the Sunday Scaries podcast. Well, if you've listened to the last episode on the feed before this one, you've noticed that I might be taking a brief pause for a bit. This is for numerous reasons. The first reason is that I'm having a second child at the end of this month or early next month. Not sure which yet. We'll find out, and it'll be fun. But I needed to have a little bit of time, and it was a lot easier logistically to just kind of take a break. The second reason is that I think it's time for retail therapy to kind of spread its wings a little bit. It's been doing very well. The listenership for retail therapy has actually surpassed the listenership for Sunday Scaries. And so I think if there is a time to go do this, I think the time is now. I think it's a very good time to do it. And additionally, just because I'm not doing Sunday Scaries, this gives me a lot more free time to do other things that might have to do with washed media, with retail therapy, with Sunday Scaries, the brand in general, with whatever it may be, newsletter. But I also think that with this newfound free time and the lack of pressure to do so, I do have a feeling that I will be writing segments for Scaries and just releasing episodes that might be a little bit more bite-sized every once in a while for everybody at home. I'm going to miss doing it. And I think there'll be a time when I end up just putting out random episodes, so you can look forward to that. But Barrett, I'm very excited to go weekly with you. I think it's a little overdue, if I'm being honest.
We've got a lot of momentum. That's what the people are saying, and I am also very excited to be dropping these once a week. This allows us to be a little bit more timely on some things. Mm-hmm. Every once in a while, we'll kind of accidentally be like 8 days late on something. But and this will alleviate a little bit of that, and then we'll just be able to talk. I mean, there are so many TikTok aesthetics out there.
Yeah.
And there's only so much time to cover them, and every other week just wasn't cutting it.
You can't keep up with Gen Z when you are only doing it bi-weekly, and so it was just a necessary change. But don't worry. We're going to take real nice care of you on the retail therapy front, and it's going to be a good time. So now that that's out of the way, let's talk about our friends over at Squarespace. Today's podcast is brought to you by our friends at Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. So whether you're just trying to start out or you're managing a growing brand, Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website, engage with your audience, and sell anything from products to content to time, all in one place, all on your own terms. When I first started Sunday Scaries, I didn't know where to build a website, so I went to Squarespace at the recommendation of somebody, and I saw several things that I absolutely loved. One, I saw the ability to blog from it, and it made it very easy to write, very easy to format everything, to link to other blog posts. They just had so many tools that allowed you to build out a blog or like a full-blown, just written editorial website. It made it so easy. Another thing that they did that was super easy was that they allowed you to collect emails so that if you had updates to send to the followers, you could easily do that. They also have a store function. You want to sell a product, you can go sell a product. You can do reservations on there. You can do email blasts. There are so many different use cases for Squarespace that if you're trying to start your brand or grow a brand, you'd be a fool not to at least consider it. I think you should absolutely do this and just make it happen. I've been happy for 10 years on Squarespace, and I don't plan on moving Sunday Scaries from it anytime soon. So right now, head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/SundayScaries to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Again, that's squarespace.com/SundayScaries to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. It's time, Barrett.
What is it time for?
It's time. It's just simply time. It's been a long summer. We're through the dog days. We're kind of weaning off summer right now. It might still feel like we're not, but mentally the vibes are shifting.
The vibes are shifting. And I would say that that's notable in the forecast for next week. Next week on the 12th right now, according to the weather apps, which I check religiously. That is when the highs are no longer in the hundreds, no longer in the triple digits. And as far out as it goes, no more triple digits after the 12th. So I'm planting a flag next Tuesday. Next week might be a big one for us. And it's going to be really nice to get that little cold snap and bring us back down into the 96s, 97s,
Be
It's gonna
careful,
be
Barrett.
nice.
Just please, I beg of you to be careful, to be wary of big weather, not believe all the apps that tell you what it's going to be. There's people, I'm getting screenshots from people showing me the lows in the 90s, and I'm like, you're just doing free marketing for your weather app right now. I don't want to hear it.
The lows in the 90s or the
highs.
the highs in the low 90s.
I'm sorry. Yeah. No.
I mean, it's
You
just,
can't trust big weather.
I mean, I hear you, but a boy can dream.
A boy can also drink. Barrett, it's time to talk about the drink of the summer. We've been talking about this In and Out for a while now. Not the In and Out list, just, sparingly talking about it. And I think we have enough under our belt at this point that it's time to make a call. I think we need to make a call. I think we need to make 3 total calls here, Barrett. I think each of us needs to call out our personal drink of the summer, and then I think we need to anoint what might be the retail therapy drink of the summer. Do you remember what our short list said for our drink of the summer originally?
I do. It was the white Negroni, the Hugo Spritz, and the Americano.
Okay. Does your drink of the summer fall into these 3?
I mean, I could see a dark horse coming out of nowhere.
I'm okay with that.
And landing on top. But yeah, my personal drink of the summer does come from that original trifecta.
Mine does too.
Yeah.
Mine does too. I'll lead off.
Okay.
I'm going to lead off. Mine was an unexpected one. I honestly expected to go with a different one from our short list, but just from how many I had alone and for how many I craved, for how many I made just while I was bored around the house and decided, you know what? I'm going to have one of these on the porch real quick. It's the Americano. I don't know where it came from. I've always really enjoyed kind of a bitter cocktail. And then I had the absolute pleasure of receiving a box in the mail from Lo-Fi Aperitifs, and they sent me a bottle of sweet vermouth, and it changed everything about the way that I make cocktails. I started mixing equal parts their sweet vermouth, the Lo-Fi, with some, why am I blanking right now? I'm just completely blanking. Not Aperol. God bless it.
Campari.
And I've been blending those together, topping it off with a little bit of Central Market sparkling water, which I find to be just an absolute delight.
Okay.
And a little slice of orange, and it's become so refreshing for me. And it's a low ABV cocktail. I was just mowing them down this summer. I never once regretted making one, and every time I got done with them, I thought, man, I would love another one right now, but I just don't think I need it. It's my drink of the summer for me.
Okay.
What do you got?
Mine is the same as it was from the very beginning of the summer.
Love it.
All throughout. And all the way until this past weekend where I was making up rounds of them again for my parents. And it's the white Negroni. And honestly, it's the first time in a while where I think a kind of a specialty cocktail like that just kind of like took over for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
A few years ago at the beginning of the pandemic, Phil Battaglia, former co-host of Club Cool, he put me on to a gin drink called a Martinez, and that was the last time that I was really just like whipping them up. You know,
I thought you were doing a bit and you were going to say a gin drink called a martini, and I was like, wow, he really opened up your world.
So that was the last time, and that was 3 years ago. But the experience at the Bowery in New York, I think really like it put it so far ahead of everything else that it was really hard for anything else to catch up to it. And then as I made them throughout the summer, everybody that I made them for was like, this is amazing. I popped into multiple locations in Austin where I requested a white Negroni, and one was made for me to varying degrees of success, but mostly to a good degree. And then it's a drink that I can see kind of keeping in the holster as we move into the transitional weather as well. You know, it's got enough punch to where it's not just a summer drink. It's got enough heft to it. And so that was definitely my own personal drink of the summer is the white Negroni.
Gin, Suze, and Lillet Blanc.
And Lillet Blanc. That's the OG recipe. But I'll say, whenever I had them made elsewhere, like out, nobody ever had the Suze.
Never.
And so there are many other things that you can replace with the Suze. And you can also replace the Lillet Blanc. So I know Coqui Americano. Hopefully I didn't botch that one. But I probably did, the name there. But there's a bunch of other stuff that you can kind of swap in for those OG ingredients.
I've seen, Coqui Americano, which again, we don't know if we're saying that correctly. And Luxardo Bitter Bianco is another one that says it's a good replacement for it. So if you can't find it, that is the hard part about, especially in making them at home and stuff. Yeah.
And I'll just add that the Suze, if you buy the Suze and make them at home, it's going to make a very kind of neon yellow cocktail.
Yes.
Which is honestly probably my least favorite part of the drink.
Kind of looks like Mountain Dew.
It kind of looks like Mountain Dew a little bit.
I get it.
And it's not as organic and as kind of like refreshing looking as like some other, drinks that we think of as summer cocktails. So I kind of want to, the Suze lasts the longest because it's the smallest, in the recipe that's what you're putting in the least of. So it's going to be a while till I finish off the bottle of Suze. But when I do, I might try to swap it out and get a drink that's a little bit less, hyper neon yellow looking.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Barrett, I have to admit, I can't even make a case against the white Negroni not being Retail Therapy's drink of the summer.
Okay.
Like I can't try to ride for the Americano because I only made them at my house. If I was out, I was trying to get a white Negroni wherever I went.
Well, okay. So I'll make the case against my own drink.
Okay.
And
I think I know at least one of the things you're going to say.
I'm not exactly going to crown the Americano specifically. But it can stand in as the drink of the summer because I think what the drink of the summer was essentially vermouth cocktails or low ABV cocktails.
Yeah.
That's what I saw
that's fair.
Proliferate on menus for the first time in a long time.
I think that's fair.
To a degree that I hadn't seen before. And so that's kind of what I would actually call the drink of the summer is just your low ABV vermouth and Amaro cocktails. And that's probably a little too broad to be fun. It's more fun to be specific and kind of plant your flag. But like if I'm really trying to decide what the macro trend was, that's where I think I would go. And so I might actually call something like the Americano the drink of the summer.
Have you seen the rise of the spaghetti?
Yes. There's a new spot on the east side called Holiday on 7th that is doing spaghetti real big. And you get
a Miller High Life, and you get an ounce of Campari, and you mix those two together, and you got yourself a spaghetti. And I have to admit that I feel like this could have had a real good run at it if it was just on the radar a little earlier.
Yeah.
It's got two things I love. And I think it's going to have to get maybe tried out when the temperatures hit the 90s.
Yeah. No.
Before the brown liquor gets busted out before fall, then I will make sure to prioritize doing a spaghetti because I think this does make sense for our general interests in life.
The next time I see one on a menu, I'm going to get one. Here's where I think some others might be thrown by the spaghetti. I had no idea that spaghetti was anything other than a joke from Tim and Eric. Awesome show. Great job.
I couldn't even tell you that it was a joke from that. Like I would have just told you it was some like historic drink that everyone in Italy drank when Miller High Life finally reached over there.
I feel like producer Randy knows what I'm talking about with spaghetti, Tim and Eric, right? This is come on, Randy.
I don't know. I didn't watch the show, but I know spaghetti is just a meme. I know like get your hands off my spaghetti. Like I think it was from like a Mario like TV show or something like that.
Okay. All right. Well, quick aside. This goes for both of you. You can't run around just quoting I think you should leave all day long and have never seen Tim and Eric Awesome Show.
I've seen some
because it's basically the precursor to what Tim Robinson is.
I'm not an overquoter of it.
Yeah.
I am.
Randy might.
Very similar brand of humor, I would say.
I can't keep up with the amount of references that happen in this office for I think you should leave. I simply can't keep up.
I saw a car drive by last week. It crossed in front of me. with the crooner.
The driving crooner?
With the driving crooner
Yeah.
sticker,
it's pretty good.
Appliques on the window.
Pretty good.
It's pretty fun.
Was it exciting for you to see?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did try to pull him over and tell him I was going to kill him, but
Try to steal his decals.
but no, it was funny.
Just be careful out there.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Yeah.
Is it acceptable for us, Barrett, to simply go with low ABV cocktails? Is this too vague?
Is it too vague?
I don't know if it is. I think I might be okay with this.
Because we both went specific on our own personal choice. I think it's okay to be broad. I think it's okay to have all three of these together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
I'm okay landing there.
I'm okay with that. It's a little more inclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's funny is that it kind of lumps together things like the Hugo Spritz as well, right?
Exactly.
Because isn't that
dude, I think the Hugo's primed for a run in 2024.
Yeah.
I think that the Hugo it made some noise in the tournament this year, but it just couldn't get there. They needed some experience under their belt.
And this happens. People rush to kind of like champion something that's that's really really buzzing, but then it's just it can't quite catch on. But I'm with you. I expect to see a lot more Spritz, including those of the Hugo variety on menus moving forward.
Yeah, the Hugo Spritz camp it's a good place to be. It's a good place to be. That's all I'll say. But now that we're kind of shifting out of the summer season, it's time to shift into the coziness of the fall season. And I think there's no better way to do that than to have a conversation about coffee, Barrett. There's been a lot of talk lately on this podcast about some coffee stuff, whether it's been things on our wish list, like a new coffee machine, or whether it's been an imminent cup, like a new coffee machine. We've talked a lot about coffee lately, and I think that coffee falls squarely into the retail therapy kind of world, because coffee is I think anything, when I think of retail therapy, I think of stuff that you can kind of get into. You can kind of nuzzle your way into these interests, and then suddenly you're just poor. Because it's like, wow, how did I find this interest or this brand or whatever? And how did I get so into it that now I just spend all my money there? And coffee can get to that level if you let it. Luckily for me, I have done a decent job of not allowing it to get there, but there's definitely a world where I start overspending on stuff and I'm doing single origin stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I get involved with the right people, like I could become a single origin guy in like a week.
Yeah. Yes. But I think you really unless you're doing pour over, unless you're doing things like blooming your coffee, I really think I don't think that single origin is necessary.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree. I agree.
Unless you're actively doing something that's going to bring out like all the florals and the fruits and the tasting notes and kind of almost like treating it like a wine, the single origin, I think it gets kind of lost on you.
I want to take you down the street, Barrett, to a little place that we've been going to lately called Proud Mary's in Austin, and they have a $50 cup of I think single origin coffee.
They do,
and I think we need to do content around it. You have more of a palate than I do right now,
okay,
and so I think we need to have you just review a $50 cup of coffee.
I would like to, and I'm actually it's kind of kismet that you brought up Proud Mary, because I was shopping at Central Market as we do yesterday, and I needed a new bag of beans. And as it happens, Proud Mary is now, they're carrying the beans in Central Market, and I believe Proud Mary it's like born in Melbourne, but I think it has its home in Portland.
Okay,
so it's kind of like a hybrid between Australian and American. And I thought it was cool. The bag looks nice. The art is good.
Yeah.
And you see over here that we're at $17, which is high end, but not crazy.
Yeah, it's not anything above 17. I'm like, okay, like how much am I going to understand the difference here?
So then I picked up this bag, Will, because I said, yeah, I'll do this. Whereupon I found out that this is an 8-ounce bag of coffee. I quickly threw it back on the shelf and moved on to some other brands that I like.
So you're telling me how much would that bag of coffee actually cost?
For 12 ounces, which is what most of the bags are, it's like 1.5 times that. So like $25.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
It's simply not happening.
It's right.
That's too much for me. I like to be in that world.
So,
I kind of think this applies to like wine lists too, where like I like to be in the $2 sign range. like not the $3 or $4 sign range when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah. So Proud Mary is definitely proud of their coffee.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think they've got a good, you know, they've got some good ground to stand on. I've been impressed with their coffee drinks every time I go there, but for at-home coffee, like I kind of just need some diesel fuel I need quantity over quality right now. Bear, what machine did you recently buy?
Yeah, so this was a few episodes ago. This was an imminent cop towards the wish list section of the pod, and I had splurged, kind of half splurged, because I had a little bit of credit going, towards the site that I bought it from. But I bought a Mocha Master by Techniform, and this is very much thought of as kind of one of the best overall kind of like drip brewers out there. It's not crazy fancy. The design has basically not changed since these launched in 1974 or whatever. They're all handmade in, I think, the Netherlands. Hopefully I'm not botching all of those facts.
I kind of hope you are.
But I'm pretty sure I mostly got all of them right.
She's a beaut.
It makes a great cup of coffee because it boils it down to the it's very, very simple. Mm-hmm. But it's also like it allows you to do some of the things that I was kind of talking about with the pour over if you want to. So like, it's not made in America. It doesn't have all these, kind of like janky safety features. Mm-hmm. So the lid on top of the spout comes off. You can pause while you're brewing if you want to like kind of stir your grounds a little bit or let the coffee bloom. And then I just love how like the reservoir is very, very easy to clean. It's not, my old Cuisinart, I'm always terrified of what's happening in all those places that you can't see and can't get to.
More on that when I start talking.
And so I've been using it for about 3 weeks now, and it's making really, really nice cups of coffee. And look, this is retail therapy. We like how things look here. And I look forward to getting up and making my coffee every morning in this thing because it looks awesome. There's no other way to put it, but this thing is like an absolute beaut sitting on the counter.
I'm really jealous.
Like it kind of I kind of feel like I'm walking out to a sports car in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Comes in all these beautiful, like kind of like, Dude, crazy like sports car colors too.
There are very few purchases we make in life that bring you joy every single day when you get to reuse it and reuse it and reuse it. And like, I think that I could have had that with this, but instead we didn't do that. Instead we bought the Cuisinart Perfect Temp 14 cup programmable coffee maker that just has none of the utility. I mean, it has the utility of what this thing does, but it's, we're just in kind of like whatever mode. Just get that coffee made and let us pour it up. I have to say that we switched over from, what was your coffee machine before?
Say that all again. Cuisinart programmable 14 cup.
Cuisinart Perfect Temp 14 cup programmable coffee maker.
Okay. All right.
We switched over from an espresso machine. We did enjoy our Nespresso. The issue with our Nespresso was that it broke. And we didn't want to replace it with a new one because that just felt stupid. So we decided to go with a just.
Is this what you got?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a brick that sits on our counter.
Oh. Well, okay. Well, this is what I had.
See, okay, there we go.
This is literally what I had. This is and the heating element finally broke after like 7 years. It lasted a good while.
Do you know how it broke? Like, can I try to break art? No, I'm just kidding. I do like this, but my issues with it are that I feel like the cleaning process is very long for me.
Okay. You told me when you first told me about this thing and you were having to clean like a bunch of things every single day.
Do I need to be cleaning everything?
No.
Am I too much of a clean freak?
I think so.
I'm cleaning 4 pieces plus the pot and the top every single day.
4 pieces?
Hand cleaning it.
What are you cleaning every day?
There's like this like thing in it. There's like a brick of like 4 different things that we have to do out of the filter.
If you're not watching us on YouTube, what we're looking at here is like a very, very traditional, just like programmable, sits on the countertop coffee maker. Okay, so when I was using this thing,
ours is actually, I'm sorry, this is a similar model to ours, but it's a little different. Ours actually has a button that opens up to the side, and so the top part of ours that has like the display and the buttons on it, that opens up. Did that open up for you as well?
No.
See, that opens up, and that's where our pieces are. And so I was told by Sally, and I didn't question it because I don't question her, to clean every time I use it. And so I clean all 4 pieces every time.
Didn't you tell me that this thing? I thought you had one that's like grinding the beans for you.
It is.
Okay.
Is this
Yeah.
different? Yeah. This is
Yeah.
different.
Okay. So you do have a fancier version of this where you're
I think we've got like
where you're putting the beans in and you're grinding the beans and like then it's good. Yeah. Okay. All right. No.
And it's fine. It does grind the beans, which is nice. I admit I haven't had a coffee machine that grinds the beans in forever. I think that it's an upgrade in terms of just doing like a cheap coffee maker, which I'm not opposed to having. I actually think that cheap coffee is great most of the time. But like it's not like I want to look forward to making coffee, and instead I don't feel that with this coffee machine. If anything, I dread having to clean it in the morning because I didn't do it the night before, and then I have to clean it all out and redo it. And so it's just not the process that I want.
Yeah.
But unless I'm switching over to what you have right now, like there's not really a better option for me to implore me to do so.
Yeah, I mean, with that is one of the downsides of the Mocha Master. Even is that like the glass carafe, is not machine washable. So I'm rinsing it every single morning. But then I let the other stuff just kind of air dry, I clean it every once a week or something like that, and hopefully that's enough. But yeah, if you have a lot of like that's one of the things that I didn't love about the Cuisinart is that some of this stuff, like the water reservoir, for example, you can't even get into it. Like there's no way to clean it.
Yeah.
So you got to like descale it and go through the whole like filtering vinegar and water
That's what I
mixture
really
through
hate
it.
doing,
And that's
man.
all. Yeah. So it's, I mean, I don't think you can really like escape some of the cleaning stuff with coffee makers, but the more pieces involved, making it harder to do that definitely like limits the enjoyment. But yeah, it's the Mocha Master. Look, I did a lot of research before I made the purchase, and I was literally I feel like I was deciding between the Mocha Master, which is very expensive, or like the $30 Mr. Coffee, which many people say is like still kind of a great way to make coffee in the morning.
I think that's what my parents have, and like I'm totally fine doing that. I love it.
The nice thing about this about the Cuisinart stuff, and again another con as compared to the Mocha Master, I'm making the coffee every morning. I can't. It's you can kind of like hack it to set it and forget it by getting a little smart plug, and then you'd set it up at night and then like let the plug flip on in the morning. But there's no, it's very analog in that way. There's like you can't punch it and dial it up to start brewing at 7:15. So
it's kind of like the vinyl of
a little bit. Yeah,
like
you might say
world.
that. You might say that.
Yeah, that's tight. That's tight. That's tight. Speaking of hobbies,
thank you for turning that con into a pro.
Yeah,
Will, that was expertly done.
Do you have any, when it comes to like the rest of your coffee like routine, do you have like go-to beans that you try to get? Do you have like a preference between like a dark or a light roast? Do you have a go-to mug?
I've got a bunch of different mugs. I don't really have a go-to one. I would like to upgrade. I know you guys have some really cool ceramics at home.
We do have a lot of cool ceramic mugs. Unfortunately, my go-to mug is not one of them.
Yeah.
My go-to mug I got for free when I leased my car. And there's something about the Audi mug that I have that I just fell in love with. It's like this nice like cement kind of lower part.
Okay.
The top part is this nice black glaze.
Wow.
And if it didn't have the Audi logo on it, like I would order 10 more. But unfortunately, it's branded with a car company, which is not exactly, and like I can't even feel cool. If they had an F1 team, I could put the mug down like during a race and be like, yeah, I'm Team Audi. Yeah. But like I don't even have that. I have to watch Le Mans, which is fine, but I don't have 24 hours.
As I said before, I love things that are dishwasher safe. I was throwing some steak knives on the old registry last night.
Yeah.
And filtered on Crate and Barrel by machine, like dishwasher safe. Like I'm trying to not hand wash as many things as possible. So I generally prefer mugs that I can also just toss in the dishwasher, which, again, it's one of the reasons why I haven't.
I'm pretty reckless when it comes to throwing mugs in the dishwasher.
That's why I haven't jazzed up the collection with dope ceramics. I generally when I'm shopping for beans, I'm looking for things that say things like baker's chocolate, toffee, almond.
Okay.
Like I like nutty, like maybe a little chocolatey, that type of thing. I generally stay away from things that sound too fruity or too floral.
Okay.
But really like with the beans, I'm just kind of bouncing around. There's only one spot where I've ordered beans from, and that's Partners out of Brooklyn. And I really like what they do, but that's mostly just because I really, really liked their coffee shops. But man, we're also like Austin. It's a top tier place for bean roasters, you know, between like Merritt out of San Antonio and Cuvée and Flat Track and
It's overwhelming.
yeah, there's really like there's like I could sit here and name 10 or 12 that are doing great stuff.
It's overwhelming. Yeah, I don't have a good pulse on the coffee bean industry right now. I did take a class in college called Coffee and Globalization. I thought it was going to be a total mail-in class. Turns out it wasn't. It was just about how coffee fuels the world, and it was like jarring. It gave me anxiety.
That actually, yeah, I can see that actually becoming a very difficult class.
We were all like, dude, let's take this class on coffee. It'll be really easy. And then we all sat there looking at each other like, oh no, what have we gotten ourselves into? It's not a great scene. Before we get on to our next subject, let's talk very quickly about our friends over at Nutrafol. Get ahead of thinning hair with Nutrafol's whole body approach to hair growth. No drugs, no compromises. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, clinically shown to improve your hair growth, thickness, and visible scalp coverage. Nutrafol's hair growth nutraceuticals go beyond genetics to multi-target the root causes of thinning, including stress, hormones, nutrition, metabolism, aging, and lifestyle through whole body health. Physician formulated using natural medical grade ingredients, Nutrafol's drug-free patented technology provides consistent, reliable results without compromising your sexual health, which is very big for a lot of people out there. In a clinical study, men showed progressive improvement in hair growth and thickness after 3 and 6 months. And guess what? Nutrafol is also trusted and recommended by more than 3,000 top doctors. You too can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and entering promo code SCARIES to save $10 off your first month subscription. This offer is only available to U.S. customers for a limited time, plus free shipping on every order. So get $10 off at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code SCARIES. I gasped on the timeline earlier this week, Barrett. I was going through, just minding my own business, just trying to hunker down for the long weekend, enjoy myself at home. And suddenly I just see an absolute group of hitters hanging out. We got Florence Pugh, Andrew Garfield, Phoebe Bridgers, Lucy. I don't know how to say Lucy's last name. Dacus. Yeah. Just hanging out.
Dacus. Might be Dacus. Either way.
Just hanging out in London together, just vibing out in a pub, just having some pints. I see a bottled water there. This alone, this is not like my dream crew to hang out with, but I do think they'd be a fun crew to stumble upon at a pub somewhere. But then I started thinking about okay, what's up with I always get a little surprised. I get a little almost jealous. There's something fun about seeing random celebrities who aren't really typically together convening in a everyman's world.
Yeah. I think this type of photo. Well, one, this taps into something that everybody likes and that Us Weekly kind of built their business off, right? And that's the 3 pages every week of celebs, they're just like us, right? So that's it taps into something when you see very famous and mostly very wealthy people doing everyman stuff like hanging out in a pub.
Just sitting in a bar. The most easy
and then
thing
it's
you can do.
Yeah, and then if you're into pop culture and you kind of follow along with what's happening, or you check into Dumois every once in a while, it's just always cool to see people that you individually like that clearly also like each other, and it just kind of validates your own kind of perspective and perception of these people. By the way, do conversations that you have in regular life and on podcasts just all bleed together to the point where you can't remember where you had certain conversations?
I don't remember anything in life.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not.
All right, so I can't remember if it was this podcast or another one, or whether it was just something that I was talking to somebody about in IRL. But also, what's happening recently is that British celebs are just 10 times cooler than the American ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
It's
American,
annoying.
not to sit up on my weird high horse or low horse, maybe rather, but very rarely do you hear about a British celeb that has gone sober. You know? And all the American ones are sober.
They seem a little more tortured over there.
Yeah, and they use the normal people vices to cope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas I feel the American ones are just all at wellness retreats, and they've gone sober, and it's just that's their whole thing.
Well, it's my dream.
The British ones are just smoking cigs in the pubs and drinking pints, and it just feels more relatable to me.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, I mean, my number one favorite celebrity right now to track is Paul Mescal.
Yeah.
Like, and that's always going to be fun.
Who has occasionally been photographed getting maybe a little sloppy outside of a pub.
Yeah.
Who among us?
Yeah. He's been ripping cigs with Phoebe Bridger, or no, Phoebe Waller.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge?
Yes, the other day. And I'm like, this guy needs to get away from girls named Phoebe Bridge in some capacity because his ex is Phoebe Bridgers. But like it's those moments where I'm like, how did these two get connected? Like, what did they have, like a friend in common? Did they just know each other from being at A-list events overseas? Like, okay, so they got together, but it's like never in my like wildest dreams could I have come up with wanting to run into Paul Mescal and Phoebe Waller-Bridge at a bar and like have a conversation with them. But that would be like just a hilariously awesome dream scenario to fall into.
Will, can I tell you about my dream scenario?
Yes.
I don't know if you know this or not, but Beyonce has been on a little run of concerts in the Los Angeles area.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like she's kind of she's kind of stealing the spotlight back from Taylor a little bit with this run.
Deserved.
You know,
deserved. Taylor got her spotlight when she was in the US. And now she's out of the US.
Yep.
See you later.
And now we are getting all the celebs are going to see Queen Bee. Two of those celebs made sure that the concert was the talk of the town this week. And that would be Timothée Chalamet and Kylie Jenner, who made it make out a fish at the concert.
The way that these two are all over each other was like 18-year-old me with my 18-year-old girlfriend. These two were just like everything they were displaying. I was like, I feel like this is what I was like when I was just like young and excited.
Yeah, and there'd been some question about what was actually happening between the two of them because I don't think that they'd been photographed together before this.
To be honest, I had known that there was some smoke there.
Yeah.
In terms of actual fire, I was shocked when I saw the video coming out of this. I was even like, I knew I was shocked because I was even more shocked than after I saw the selfie that Kim Kardashian took with Bezos that she put on her Instagram story.
Are you shipping this relationship? Do you believe in love?
I feel like one text from Travis Scott could kill Timothée Chalamet. That's my concern here. Is like, can he deal with being like the stepfather to Travis's kids?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I saw someone edit a photo of Chalamet in a hoodie, and the hoodie was edited to say, I'm not a stepfather. I'm the father who stepped up. And I was just like, I love the idea of the stepfather dynamic with Timothée Chalamet just stepping in and being like, what's up, kids?
Look, I guess this makes sense for both of them, but I'm not going to lie. I'm a little surprised that Timothée Chalamet has landed in the wheelhouse of Kylie Jenner.
Me too. Part of me wonders if like Kylie and Kim had conversations and like Kim was like, well, I had skinny Pete Davidson,
right?
Like
and
what?
It did.
What are you gonna
do?
Did
numbies?
Yeah. Like look at my Google searches. Once I was with Pete Davidson, like, what are you gonna do? And she's like, all right. I'm gonna reach out to Chalamet.
Yeah,
I gotta get Chalamet here.
Man, this is a big one. So there's just the celeb news was really just popping this week. Is what I'm trying to say.
It really has been. And like, then I started thinking about like other random celebrity like meetings that have been photographed lately. We've got Jacob Elordi having lunch with Luca Guad, the guy who directed Call Me by Your Name, and like noted friend of the pod James, who recently picked up some Aimé Leon d'Or. Randy, thank you. Slip mats for me in New York. Quoted this and said, "I know they cooking with gas," and I think he's correct here. Elordi can pretty much do anything that he wants at this point in my eyes, and
he is quickly becoming he's on his way if he's not already one of the patron saints of this podcast. I would say
he needs to be at least in the conversation because like there are just videos of coming out of him just looking like the coolest guy on the planet. Like, and we've talked about it before. Like, yeah, he's 6 foot, whatever. Like, it's really easy to be that cool when you're that tall and that hot. But he seems to be making decisions that I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, he's in this new Elvis. Well, no, excuse me. He's in this new Priscilla Presley movie, playing Elvis, and that's a story that I largely find myself uninterested in.
Yeah, I get it.
But he's a draw for me.
Yeah. Oh, he's a draw for me at this point.
I kind of want to see him do his thing. And
he needs to get away from the stigma of his character in Euphoria, because I feel like a lot of people consider him to be an asshole because of the way that he is in Euphoria. Whereas I can't speak to what he's like in real life, but the decisions that he makes are decisions where I'm like, ooh, I like this. I like what he's doing here. This is interesting to me.
Well, we just stumbled over the name of Luca Guadagnino.
You did better than me.
And I actually meant to deliver this mea culpa at the top of the podcast, but this has reminded me of it. It was my turn to stumble over a brand name last podcast.
What was it?
And I'm here with my hand up.
Yes.
To admit that it is not Jacques Mew.
What is it?
It's Jacques Mousse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes. Which seems to go against the way that you're supposed to pronounce French things. I feel like the S is constantly silent.
I've always in my head, this is one of those brands that like, I just don't say. And I like my entire life, I've been saying just Jacquemus. Okay. It's just Jacquemus.
Well, you were closer than I was.
I wasn't that far off.
Jacquemus is the designer's last name, which I think is why it gets the S instead of, I think if you were reading that as like a, some type of conjugation or whatever, then maybe that's where the S is silent. But yeah, it's not Jacques Mew, it's Jacques Mousse. And now we all know, file it away with the Loewe, and we'll all be better for it going forward, and we can make fun of our friends who say it wrong.
I was listening in on a conversation recently with somebody, and I heard some people talking about some handbags, and I heard someone say that they liked this bag from Lowe, and my heart just filled up, and I was like, oh, there are other people out there just like me who can't say the name of these companies.
Well, that Loewe, like kind of like beachy straw looking bag is like kind of got memed because it got so popular and so kind of sought after for a certain set. And so that's how you know that it's become ubiquitous and a little oversaturated, is when people are just walking around saying that they want the Lowe bag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or maybe, I don't know, a little scented candle on the Sunday Scaries podcast. Let's go. Let's move on. While we're talking about celebrity cruise, this is actually adjacent because there's something that I've been noticing lately that I'm quite jealous of. And it's the fact that Chase Crawford and Miles Teller pretty much just hang out all the time. And they seem like a chill group of dudes. I'm not sure about you, Barrett, but I was a big fan of Gossip Girl, which means that my boy Chase is right in the mix. But through watching their friendship blossom, I took note of something that I tweeted about recently. And it's that our man Miles Teller has been wearing the exact same Grateful Dead hat for the entire summer.
Yeah.
You can't find photos of him anywhere online without him wearing this Grateful Dead hat all summer. And granted, he has gone to some shows. I still think that I saw him at the Austin Bob Weir Wolf Bros show. I'm almost positive.
Really? You probably did.
I told this story recently. I was in the back row of the floor, and I was kind of just bobbing along to the music, enjoying myself. I look over, and there's a guy who's a little taller than me, and he looked just like Miles Teller.
That's a big celeb sighting.
And I didn't want to take the person I was with out of their element, so I didn't want to be like, dude, is that Miles Teller? Like, oh my God. But I kept on looking over, and I was like, I cannot wait for this concert to end so he can turn around and walk out, and I can just look at him and see, but I didn't want to stare.
Yeah, it probably was him.
But before the final song, I looked over to see if he was still there, and he was completely gone. And I'm pretty positive. And now that he's hanging out with Chase Crawford, an Austin guy, I'm almost like even more positive it was him.
Like a thief in the night.
Yeah. But some of the photos that I posted, these are all from all within over a month's span.
Okay.
And he's anywhere from a lake house to their show at the Gorge in Washington. And I started thinking about it. Like, I am not a hat person. I've never really been a hat person. And the only time you see me wearing a hat is first thing in the morning to walk my dog because my hair's a mess from sleeping, while I'm on the golf course, or if I'm at a pool or the beach. And that's really the only time I wear a hat. And there's part of me that like wishes that I was a hat guy. There's part of me that wishes that I had a go-to hat. And I just don't have that right now.
Well, you've just spoken to a piece of the puzzle though, which is that if you find me out and about during the day on like a normal day, such as today, and I'm wearing a hat, that is because I did not mess with my hair this morning.
Yeah.
It's because I probably showered last night, which means I didn't shower this morning. And I've not bothered to do anything with my hair, and it's a total mess. And I gotta go hat. That's when I go hat. And so what I think what you're saying is that no matter what, you're doing your due. before you leave.
I shower every day. And I shower first thing in the morning every day.
Yeah.
I can't not do it. And so putting a hat on after I've showered and after I've I don't do my hair.
I'm the same way though. Like if I shower in the morning, that means I'm at least doing something with it. My hair is not going to look like insane. Like, look, this is what my hair looks like right now. Like
I think you look great.
Thank you, producer Randy.
Randy shuddered.
That's the reaction that I'm looking for. Like it's it's wild, it's crazy. So if I shower and I do a little something to it and it's looking good, like I don't want to cover it up.
Yeah.
That's what's really happening.
I'm not hating the hat that you have on right now. I feel like I'm very much a fan of camo hats this season.
Yeah.
Maybe I should save that for an episode of fall stuff, but I'm very into it right now. I've always enjoyed camouflage as a fabric in general. I don't think I can pull it off in very many scenarios, but I think you might be seeing with a little camo. But like, I just don't have one hat that I go in my closet. I'm like, yeah, that's the one. Instead, I just find myself going hat to hat and trying to figure out like, is this one going to be comfortable for right now? Does this go with what I'm wearing? And I feel like I'm overthinking it.
I think about all that too. The thing that's nice about hats is that they are, well, it's a gift and a curse really, but they're so easy to collect. I constantly want new ones.
I think I have a top tier hat collection, but no one will ever see any of them because all I do is wear them in the like with my dog.
Yeah.
It's just pitiful.
Yeah.
I might just buy this hat. I might just copy Miles Teller and just get the Dead & Co. like signature hat.
Back to Miles's hat though.
Yeah. It's a terrible fitting hat.
I respect the game. I respect him wearing this hat all summer and his commitment to it. It looks awful on him.
What? Like why? Yeah. Why is no one? Is it because he's Miles Teller? Like is no one being like, hey, dude, you got to get a hat that fits your head a little bit better.
A little bit. Yeah. This looks like he found like a kid's hat.
Yes.
And he was like, I like it, and he's just going for it. But
I'm pretty sure Fritz's one hat fits his head better than what this hat does on Miles Teller's hat.
The fit is lacking here.
Does that mean that he's not? He's just he's a non-hat guy in a hat guy world. Like he's only got one hat and he's not wearing it well. Like should Miles Teller maybe take a step back from wearing hats?
Look, Miles Teller, he's kind of he strikes me as a salt of the earth dude. I'm pretty sure he's from Philly.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he's Philly.
Loves sports. Loves the Grateful Dead.
Mm-hmm.
I feel confident that he knows his way around a hat or two.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
But this is almost. It's almost like I don't know if he's intentionally doing an anti-fit thing, you know?
Yeah.
But I do think the fact that he is Miles Teller and, he's not a single guy. He's already locked down.
Oh yeah, he's doing just fine.
And so he's just like, yeah, whatever, this is my hat, bro. I'm hanging out with Chase Crawford.
Yeah, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Like, I was in Top Gun. Like, I got scenes with Cruise. Like, yeah, like buzz off, dude. You're gonna talk shit about how I wear my hat. I'm such a non-hat guy that like it took me about an hour before after I sent the tweet to realize like, yeah, he does look like shit in this hat. Like, he doesn't wear it well. It took me just a little bit. One of my favorite rom-coms is actually a Miles Teller rom-com called Two Night Stand. I discovered this movie deep in a winter freeze when I was living in Michigan. And it was a movie that was much needed at the time. It's about two people who decide to hook up via a dating app and then they get snowed in together. It's a great premise for a romantic comedy. But overall, the fall time, like we said in the start of this episode, is the best time to start watching romantic comedies. And I've got a sneaky little suspicion right now that we might be entering what could be considered a possible rom-connaissance. And I'm hoping that maybe this can happen, Barrett.
Okay.
There's big news out of last week that Meg Ryan is going to be starring in a new romantic comedy with David Duchovny.
I think I saw this. I think I saw the movie poster or something. Yeah.
I'm happy with this. I think that David Duchovny could be a great asset in this film. And we know Meg Ryan's built for romantic comedies through and through.
Sure,
that's not something we need to worry about.
That's her brand.
Yeah. Like that's just who she is. But we've also got Glenn Powell and all these paparazzi shots from the summertime just traipsing around with Sydney Sweeney.
Sure.
They had all those rumors to fuel the stuff surrounding their movie. And ever since I've started following Rom-Com Archive on Twitter, I've just been getting fed so much rom-com stuff that I'm positive that we're about to be cooking this fall. We've got Zoe Deutsch making a return. And after her performance in a recent Netflix rom-com, I'll watch her again. Like, I'm good with this. She was with Glenn Powell, I think,
That's
in
right.
that one.
Yeah.
Is Glenn about to be the new McConaughey?
I mean, he definitely has he's got the pedigree for it.
He could easily put together a run of romantic comedies right now that really like solidify him as a heartthrob to a lot of people, and then he could just take the McConaughey like, all right, now I'm only taking prestige roles.
Yeah. He's also the new face of Brioni. So he's, like McConaughey was Dolce and Gabbana, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. And so he's all he needs is like a kind of sexy little car commercial happening.
He needs a tagline.
And then he's there. And
Glenn doesn't have a tagline.
He doesn't have a tagline.
He doesn't have all right. He doesn't have like the pounding of the chest from Wolf of Wall Street. We need Glenn to get a few more movies before he starts doing that.
He didn't get a little like jaw snap like Val Kilmer did in the
true.
bad guy role in Top Gun.
It's true. I mean, everyone's seen Top Gun at this point, right?
Right.
Like if you weren't fist pumping as he came to save them, I was just like, yes, of course. You just got like the douchiest guy on the movie, just coming to be the good guy.
But yeah, I think that there are. I can see rom-coms kind of coming back with a vengeance a little bit. One of them just didn't something do really well at the box office recently? I think something did. It's slipping my mind what did well, but the Jennifer Lawrence movie got really good reviews.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's harder to get a good read on a rom-com with so many that come out just go like straight to streaming, and I feel like people outside of like the big blockbuster movies, like if the movie's in theaters, it's not a big blockbuster, you're probably not going to go see it right now. Or I guess I'm probably speaking from personal experience.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen very many new rom-coms from this year alone that I've been very impressed with.
Okay.
Was it No Hard Feelings, the one that you were just talking about with Jennifer Lawrence?
That's the new one
that's the new one.
Yeah, that had pretty good reviews but man, sorry that I'm biffing this, but like there was
no, it's fine just because you're bringing back biffing.
There was definitely something. I saw a tweet about it that was like, I think it was from the creator. It was like, thank you for the acknowledgement that people do still want this type of movie, this type of content. But it's evading me right now.
My dream has been to write a romantic comedy my entire life. I have a list of concepts that I've kept fresh that I would like to dive into at some point, but I'm not ready to release that.
Well, are you familiar with the author Emily Henry?
No.
She wrote like People You Meet on Vacation.
I am very familiar. I take that back.
Okay.
I'm sorry I said no. The second I Googled it, yes. The People You Meet on Vacation, Beach Read, Book Lovers, Funny Story.
Yes. These are all wildly popular books.
Yeah.
That are all basically romantic comedies.
Yeah.
And many of them have been optioned already. And like the books are very beloved. And I think that I get the sense that they do things right and that they aren't too sappy or cheesy. They've got elements that don't feel like they've got some R-rated elements basically. Like it's like adult things are happening in more ways than one. And like that's like, I think we need a little bit of that in our romantic comedies. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be doesn't have to be dumbed down, basically.
Yeah.
Like I think what's been missing over the last decade, really, or the last 5-6 years, especially with like the whole Marvel and Star Wars thing happening and dominating all the box office, is that like we don't make movies like for adults anymore. Like movies that are just like dramas or rom-coms or small stories, like everything has to be an epic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I very much would prefer, I like watching like small situational kind of like neurotic stuff or like more targeted stuff. Like the stuff that I've truly enjoyed watching or that I've thought was like the best lately has been in terms of like this realm has been the Sally Rooney route of it, which you can't even describe those adaptations. I guess they've mainly been TV show adaptations. They've been, if anything, more gut wrenching than like, there's no funny parts of those. No. And so that's the route that I feel like has been more popular. But now I'm ready for like the lighthearted stuff. Like I'm ready for that 90 minutes that I can pop on the screen on Netflix and sit down on a Saturday night and go to bed with a smile on my face. Like I'm tired of crying. That's just a blanket statement in life, you know.
They're primed for a resurgence. I'm with you.
Do you have any favorite romantic comedies, Barrett?
Ooh. Man, I do, but on the spot, I'm not gonna be able to think of them.
Oh, you bastard! I'm gonna make you send me a list so that you can I can include it in the listener companion this week. Everyone wants the OCC guys' takes on romantic comedies.
Yeah, I will tune into the Sunday Digest, and I'll have my top 5.
I don't even want you to. Yeah, I don't even. I'm glad you're doing this. I'm glad you're taking yourself out of the situation, because if you just started naming like shitty ones and then you tried to redo it later, it would be maybe too far to go and come back from. So yeah, I'll get your list and then I'll include some of mine as we go. Is it wish list time?
I think so.
Let's do some wish list items. Do you want to start off today?
I will start. Yeah, I've got something very domestic and very boring to
No,
throw in here.
No such thing as boring when it comes to wish lists.
But look, green. It's the colors, right? It's still the color, and I'm looking to add a little bit of it to my home.
Okay.
In the form of a washable rug. This is from Revival Rugs, and this is specifically would go in our kitchen.
Okay.
We're having
nothing wrong with a washable rug in the kitchen.
A washable rug is nice. The one that we're looking that I'm looking at is called the Shell, and it comes in this beautiful evergreen color. And that's honestly been what I've been like toying around with the most lately. It's just this what stopped me is that they're allowing themselves 10 days to process and then like another 10 business days to get it to you. And I need more gratification. I need faster gratification.
So you're like, instead of making that happen, I'm gonna delay it even further.
Yes,
I'm gonna keep waiting. I'm gonna keep waiting.
Exactly. Yep.
Rugs are one of those things where I really buckle under pressure. I feel like we could do an entire episode on like the thought process of trying to buy a rug for your place, because it's like you can't just get one and return it. Like that's not a fun process to do. It's just a beating to do it.
Yes. Yeah. If you buy a rug, chances are you're not returning it.
No. We got sent the wrong size of a rug recently. That was too large. In the process of having to get that thing back, they ended up having to send someone to our place and just pretty much do like a white collar pickup.
Yeah.
Because they were like, we were like, I don't know, like you can't ask us to wrap it because we're not going to do a good enough job. And like it was just the worst scenario. My wish list item this week, Barrett. I'm leaning into fall, my friend.
Wow. But with a vibrant fall.
I want to get a little sexy in my purple this year. I'm going with the purple brush Shetland crew neck jumper from Drake's. Drake's has just been like Aimé Leon d'Or was the gateway drug to Drake's, and now I'm just sipping that Kool-Aid super hard. I've been loving the Shetland kind of wispy sweaters that have been coming out. I don't have anything like it. And whether I get the purple, they've got a green one, but I would do any color. Maybe this is more of like a blanket, like I just want a Shetland crew neck sweater. And so I'm going to be shopping for them. And I don't think, based on what I've seen from a lot of websites that I search, there ain't no shortage of them this fall season.
No. Have you ever, have you ever donned a Shetland sweater?
No. Okay. Do I need to have concerns?
Well, anytime I see wool that is not merino or cashmere, it's always a question of the itch factor.
Yeah, but like if you look good in it, like I'd rather be itchy and look good than like not look good and not be itchy.
Famous last words.
That's true. That's true.
Sometimes I don't know how. Like, this is different for everybody, right? Some people just like it's like they can just like pop on wool and they're like, yeah, whatever, this is great.
Yeah.
Others, if you've got any type of sensitivity to it, or you only like super soft things, then you might react differently. Well, I do have to mention though that let's see. Yeah, it looks like only size 44 left. Is that your size?
I'm aware, Barrett. I'm aware. I'm not happy about it. No, it's not my size, okay? It's not my size.
Can you dial up your guy at the store in New York that sold you the pants?
I don't know. I need to figure out who the cool dude wearing the sunglasses that really liked Sunday Scaries was, because he was my guy in that store, and we really had a bond that day.
You should just call up and ask that.
He found the final pin in existence of the duck drinking the wine and sold it to me at a discount because it was damaged. So I will forever ride for the sales associates at Drake's in New York.
Dude, get in touch, bro.
I know. I need to. I do have some announcements, though, regarding the status of some things on my wish list, Barrett.
Okay.
We need to check off your wish list,
We
by the way.
do.
I've either checked off all mine on the Listener Digest, or I've given a reason as to why I purchased it or why I didn't, or if I've purchased something alternative. I have purchased the turntable weight and cork mat, and I love this purchase. These things are two things that you can put on your turntable to make your vinyl sound better. And there's a lot of people out there that say it doesn't really make that much of a difference. I think it's made a noticeable difference, and I've truly enjoyed having both of those. I have to say that I've also, we can also check off, what I'm wearing right now. Long sleeve Stussy pigment dyed shirt. I'm
Boom.
wearing it right now. I've crossed that off. I went to the site to buy more. They only offer 2 colors, and I own them both at this point, so it's no longer happening. But that's the status of my wish list.
Boom, roasted.
Yep.
Yeah. There's some stuff. I can blaze through them real quickly, and then we'll actually we'll make the amends for the digest.
Let's do it.
The Loewe puzzle card holder is off of my list.
Come on,
because I did get a new one. I went for a Smithson right here. This was on sale.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
This was on sale on Essence for $72, so that I did not spend $350 on the Loewe. The R13 Kurt sneakers. As I mentioned, when I added those to the wish list, I was able to acquire those on a deep discount. So I did grab those. I did pick up a pair of the Homme Plissé Issey Miyake color pleats in Japan. So those are gone. And then, and that's it. Some of these things that I talked about, like the Birkenstock EVA Arizonas and my OAS swim trunks, were imminent cops. So those were purchased. Other things remain outstanding. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the what stands out to me on my list is the thing that I really still want. This is going to be the 3rd time that I've mentioned on this podcast, but people have started DMing me that listen to this podcast and that own it, and they have nothing but amazing things to say. It's the made-in carbon steel griddle and press.
Fair.
I got to start making my own smashies. I'm going to.
Fair. We can get you this. We can secure the bag for you, my friend. I'm pretty sure we can figure this out. Like, we had a party with 40 people at it, and the founder of the company came to the party. Like, I think we just got to hit up our man. Shout out Jake.
I just listed off a bunch of stuff that I clearly have shopped over the last several months, but I do. I'm in a really weird position this fall. Weddings. It turns out that they are expensive.
I've heard that. Yeah.
And you need a lot of stuff for them, and you might indulge yourself in, I don't know, a new tuxedo or a bachelor party. And I was already headed into this fall trying to be extremely mindful of my purchases, to wear what I own. Mm-hmm. There's a chance, it's probably unlikely, but I might not buy anything, like any new clothes, until November.
Stop.
And I know that's bad for this podcast.
Barrett, the second you buy a piece of clothing, I want a text message from you, and I'm gonna do a clock of how long it took you.
Dude, it might be a while. That's all I'm saying. I've got a lot of stuff that needs to get worn, and I finally have something that is consuming a large enough portion of my budget that I actually am being forced to curb, a degenerate habit of mine.
I'm kind of in the process right now of trying to figure out what I need for fall. And like a lot of the stuff that I quote unquote need are just things that I like currently that I want a different style of. Mm-hmm. Like I have a pair of pants that I'm like, okay, I need a different color of those pants. Like it's things like that. But I'm kind of in the same boat where I don't see myself purchasing a lot. But that kind of makes me feel like if this is how my brain works. In my head, I'm like, well, you're not going to buy much this fall. But then I'm like, that means that you can get one really awesome thing. It's just not the mindset to have.
I know, but see, for me, the awesome thing is going to be a tuxedo, I think. And so so that
mine's going to end up being that purple fleece.
Yeah.
From ALD.
Is that still available?
It was last time I checked, which was a while after. But that's one of those things where it's like, I feel like I'm just going to get it and it's not going to fit me well and I'm going to return it. And then I just have like a way too high of credit.
Sure. Yeah.
Because they just use doing credit. It's so sick. So sick. Well, I think that's all she wrote today. I'm going to make all these updates on your wish list, Barrett.
Dude, yeah, I'll send them over. I'll send you the list.
To everyone out there who reached out regarding the switch in recording schedule, thank you. We hear you. We enjoy your feedback, and we're excited to go about this and really do this weekly. It's been fun, and honestly, some of my favorite moments of the week are sitting down doing retail therapy. So we're going to keep grinding here. Next week, we do have some special guests entering the studio with us to talk fall fashion. You will get a female side and point of view of things.
Yeah, if you maybe have a question that you would like to ask a lady that might be very close to Will and I, or two ladies that might be very close.
I was like, which one are we talking about?
DM us.
Yeah.
Drop in there.
Hop in the go follow retail.pod on Instagram. DM there, and we'll probably put up a prompt before too.
Maybe so.
But we're gonna do a little fall fashion preview next week with our significant others, and it should be fun.
That's
as
correct.
they've been a lot of people have been clamoring to get them on here. So we will see you guys next week. Later.